But if you want to get into car culture when it comes to drifting, it's a completely different ballgame. It's probably one of the best car cultures in the world. Name's Dan Fitz, from Lucan originally. Obsessed with drifting. It's always been a passion in the family. Like the mother, the father, the whole lot of them, they've all loved cars since I was a kid. I drift in behind me here, the E36 323i. Only recently we put an M54 B30 into it, so it's out of a newer generation 3 Series. It's I don't even know, I think about 250 brake horsepower. It's polybushed, it's got adjustable camber arms, it's got a full CNC 71 lock kit in the front as well, and all solid bushings in the front. It makes it a serious car to handle. When I was about 14 or 15, I was scanning Facebook Marketplace, obsessed with drifting. I'd gone to one amateur event and seen it and thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. And I was scanning Facebook Marketplace and I found this car. It was originally Holt Green. It was on Dundee, I found it, and I had actually rang your man, 14-year-old me, on the phone, and your man goes, sorry, the car sold. I was like, oh shit. And well, that was that. I didn't know, but it turns out my father and my uncle had actually gone out and bought it, then parked it in another shed we have over in Finglas for 9 months. And it was about nearly a year after that phone call that I walked into the garage and went, oh Jesus, what's this BMW in here? They were like, oh, it's for you. Now mind you, back in the day, it was, I think I paid €1,000 for the car. Geez, I'm 23 now, so what would that be? Nearly 8 years. No, less, 7, 8 years. I've got Snapchat memories coming up all the time from 5, 6 years ago, and I'm like, geez, I have it a while. Yeah, no, I'll never sell it. Would you believe? I'll never sell it. Even when I'm building a second car at the minute, but this car will never be sold. I love it too much. Of course, with me being surprised with the car when I was younger, it kind of put me into the tree of BMWs. And from there, I proceeded to keep buying BMWs. I've gotten used to driving them. I have another 2-door E36 there. My plan is, it's actually sitting in the back of the van at the moment. I have a fully forged 2JZ, built bottom end. Everything's done, heads more or less built. It's like 276 cam, Brian Crowe valve springs, should rev like a motorbike. Should rev to about 9,500. I think the engine, just the last time I checked, the lowest failure point in the engine's about 1,200 brake horsepower. See, the power does help. Like that's why I'm going for as much power as I am. Everyone says it's the way to go. Jay-Z takes the power, takes the abuse, so if I sat into an S chassis, yeah, I'd probably be able to drift it, but I'd be much more comfortable in the E36 or an E46 because, well, I'm driving it that long. A friend of mine, Dean Monaghan, would say the same. He had basically the exact same car as me. A friend of ours was looking to get into drifting only a few weeks ago, and he ended up buying a Beamer. The one thing me and Dean both said to him was, you have to drive the arse out of the car to actually get it to slide. In these, you haven't got much power. Like I started off, for the last 3 years, I've been drifting with 165 brake horsepower, which is less than a twin cam. And like any video I've put up, you'll see that first corner, you're kind of top of fourth gear, you're on the throttle flat, and you're not touching the handbrake or the brakes, and you're just a big stupid flick. Like the Irish scene, the Irish car culture has always been something great. The scene back in the day when my father was driving around 205 GTIs, Subarus, Evos, everything. You'd see everything out and you'd still get them for good money. But if you want to get into car culture when it comes to drifting, it's a completely different ballgame. It's probably one of the best car cultures in the world. There's a serious amount of individuality with the drifting in Ireland. You'll see if you go down to any invitational event, every car's different. You'll never see 2 cars the same. It's always different wheels, different kit. The car will actually look extremely well. The car scene in Ireland is majority young lads. To be honest, they're doing what they can to still be part of the scene. The main people I think in the Irish car scene are Big Cruise Ireland. They have the Japanese culture, the Irish culture all mixed into one, and I tell you, they're unreal at what they do. Like they've some talented people as a part of that group, and props to them, honest to God. To be honest with you, it's kind of the only community I ever fit into. When I was in secondary school, there was actually, I could say there was, I think, 2 people in my whole school, and it was a fairly big school that were into cars. When I finally actually started driving in Mondello and stuff, and getting into the groups on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and meeting people to do with the drifting in Ireland, it was more of a community for me then, because I never really had something like that. It really brought a huge culture to me and gave me people to actually talk to and a community I could be part of. We actually haven't got an Irish-based team name. We are part of a team in Lithuania called Unn Reliable. I love the boys over there. They have way more style than us. They've got the generic Eastern Europe style, which is all the night ride cars. Big chrome wheels, and the boys over there can drive. Boys and girls. There's a few women on the team as well, have to say. The reason I chose drifting instead of any other form of motorsport, like obviously when I was younger, since I was a young child, my dad's been doing circuit racing, and I loved it. I've always loved it. I've been obsessed with racing. I've been racing on sims a long time. Circuit racing in Ireland wasn't as big at the time, and drifting was on a serious come up. James Dean was just being named, and I went down and done the Pro Drift Academy back in the day when I did it. It was like a drift experience in Mondello, and you go out with some of the pros in a 350Z in the paddock, and they teach you how to drift. I went out with Jack Shannon. He was the instructor. I was useless in the car. I didn't even link a corner, but then at the end, Jack Shannon actually, they switch it around and he drives. Went out doing tandems with me in the passenger seat, and it's on my Facebook to this day from like, I think it comes up 9 years ago at this stage, and it's me screaming in the car going, this is absolutely unreal. Door to door with Jack Shannon in a stock 350 with just a Hydra, and I was obsessed after. The scary moments in drifting for me are problems with the car. My handbrake stuck on one day. We'd just put a new engine in the night before. Handbrake stuck on and made me feel like all I heard was the engine dying and just going, ugh. And I thought I blew a second engine within a day. That was a terrifying moment. The first lap of Mondello my parents ever seen me drift, they were in the grandstand. I was coming under the bridge. I've been doing it, wouldn't say brilliant, but I was doing it grand all morning, top of fourth gear, big flick in. And this car has always had an issue. When you hit full lock, the two wheels hit the chassis legs and it locks up the front wheels and the car rotates, just spins out. It's always had this issue, and I knew about it. Me and Adrian had lined up, and usually for the under the bridge, most people know it's flat. You're just flat on the throttle and banging through gears. So I was in the top of third instead of fourth, and your man was in front of me going slower, so that's why I was in third. I said, right, I'll try it. Chucked it, and the wheel speed and the revs were up way too high, and the car wouldn't slide that way or that way. And then I just came into the corner, just said, I'll just pull the handbrake. And the car rotated that little bit too quick and snapped the front wheels into the chassis legs and locked up. And of course, all I seen was horror in my face, and Adrian coming at me with a big smiley head at about 90 miles an hour in his car going, ha. And then he seen me and went, oh, and we melted the two cars together. In first lap my parents had ever seen me drive was me murdering the front of my car. I hadn't too much damage. I thought the car was gone. I done just the CNC lock kit, and he broke two engine mounts, two headlights, the grills, the bumper, everything came off his car, and I pushed the whole side of it in. All from the one crash. Like, he hit me at some rate of speed. I was at a dead stop and he was coming in at about, not 90, but about 70 miles an hour. And just cleaned the car over. They're the moments that are a bit iffy, but you have to love it. It's all part of it at the end of the day.